Phantasmagoria was released in 1995 by Sierra, as the first of their two-part horror adventure series, the second being A Puzzle of Flesh. It received mixed reviews, but phenomenal sales, further cementing Sierra's dominance in the adventure genre. The game also met with a bit of controversy due to the violent nature of the content. In Phantasmagoria, the player takes control of Adrienne Delaney, a successful novelist, who recently moved into an old mansion with her husband, Dawn. The island estate was originally owned by a famous magician from the late 1800s, Carno Vash, whose mysterious life and death comes back to haunt the current mansion's occupants. As Adrienne, the player explores the estate and the nearby town, talking to others, collecting items and solving puzzles to progress the story. With the exception of Adrienne, the characters are all over the top, most of all, Dawn.
A woman's body is a wonderful thing, but the head is useless.
Oh, come on. I love when you do the bubble. Excuse me, honey. You're back here again. Now, can you not see I am with
The game struggles to find a tone. It wants to be a B-horror movie, but was created in the heyday of the adult thriller. The scenery, chilling acting, and gory death scenes are appropriate for the former, but not the latter.
No, here's to you, Victoria.
The most controversial part of the game by far is a rape scene in Chapter 4. However, due to the nature of adventure games of the time, the scene is immediately followed by Adrienne calmly wandering around the house like nothing happened. It's incredibly distracting that the scene takes place in the same game that has characters like Harriet and Cyrus.
Spiritual being.
I think they're biting.
Wow, boy, you are strong.
Yeah, I know. Ma always tells me that I'm more muscles than brains.
Yeah, well, your mother was right, Cyrus.
The gameplay and interface are intuitive enough. The game is divided into 7 chapters with cutscenes bookending them. When the player starts a new game, they create an account for themselves, so multiple players can play on the same machine without interfering with others. However, each player only gets one save slot that the game calls a bookmark, in keeping with the book theme. Throughout the game you will be asked if you want to move your bookmark to the current location. Adrienne moves from screen to screen by hovering the cursor on doors or the margin of the screen. If Adrienne can move there, the cursor turns into an arrow. If Adrienne can interact with something, the cursor will turn red when hovered over it. The bottom portion of the screen holds the user interface. The P in the center brings up the in-game menu. The fast forward button allows the user to skip cutscenes so they don't have to watch Adrienne walk down the same flight of stairs 100 times. These buttons are flanked by inventory slots. The game is designed so Adrienne never has more than 8 items at a time. The oval on the right allows the player to look closer at inventory items, and in a few cases, interact with them. The oval on the left is the hint keeper, but he can introduce himself.
I am the official hint keeper. I watch your every move. Ask me for a hint if you are hopelessly stuck, but use me sparingly. Too many hints can spoil the game.
He will offer advice like,
go to the chapel. Find the secret panel on the wall to the right of the door.
The puzzles can be challenging but are typical for Sierra games of the time. I encountered only one situation that prevented me from progressing. Adrian needs to get into this door, but it is locked, with the key in the keyhole on the other side. To solve this, she is supposed to slide a newspaper under the door. Then use a nail to push the key out of the keyhole and onto the newspaper. Then she pulls the newspaper back along with the key. On my first playthrough I used the nail before placing the newspaper, leaving me with no way of retrieving the key. Later in the game, Adrian is supposed to trade a cameo for a crucifix, but if the player forgets, the designers were gracious enough to leave another one on Marie's casket. In Chapter 7 the gameplay becomes less linear. Adrian performs an action that triggers the final confrontation. However, she may be doomed to fail if she didn't make the right moves first. Oddly, Adrian only learns the fates of Harriet and Cyrus if she makes a few mistakes. If the player played a perfect game, they would assume the two made it off safely.
Can't you see? We're leaving. We're getting the hell out of here.
Spoiler: they don't.
He threatened my boy and me. Said that, if me and Cyrus didn't leave, we'd be hanging from the rafters.
Spoiler: they do. Though the game has an end goal, the true motivation for players to progress is to see the gory death scenes. Fans of B-horror and slasher films might find this game interesting. Just expect a slow-paced 90s adventure game. Thank you for watching. More to come soon.